We don't always make the best decisions, for example having pizza for breakfast or spending all our money on Jane's cryptocurrency she assured us was going to the moon.
Jane coin is due a surge any day now, you'll see.
Sometimes though, it turns out that these colossally stupid decisions are actually the best possible course of action. So maybe making colossally stupid decisions is really a good thing, as they can lead to outcomes that no one could have possibly predicted. Unlike the precipitous fall of Jane coin. Watch on for 7 colossally stupid decisions we can't believe worked out, and beware spoilers ahead for the following games. So you think Jane coin's gonna pick up in the next few months maybe?
Hodl, baby.
Hodl on Jane coin. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta diamond hand it.
My hands are just flesh. Is that a problem?
I said hold!
Well, I am holding, but my...
Continue to hold Jane coin.
Okay. Well, how much money should I put into Douglerium?
At least twice as much.
Okay. Diamond hands, hodl.
I was no good to anyone. Beginning to end. Weak as a kitten and thick as 2 planks. I suppose dying in disgrace is fitting. In a way.
When playing Elden Ring, you need all the help you can get. That's where summons come in handy. These cooperative NPCs can join in on boss fights to help you out and deliver some encouraging words into the bargain. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm fired up.
You will rue today. Behold, a true great warrior, and Egon.
In more ways than one. One of the more useful NPCs to summon in Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is a poison specialist known as Theolier, who can be summoned for several fights, including the game's rock-hard final boss. However, the only way to complete Theolier's questline, and therefore get him on your side to be summoned in the first place, is to repeatedly drink lethal poison, without any indication that what you're doing is helpful in any way. Towards the end of Theolier's questline, he will relocate to the Garden of Deep Purple, which is not a private retreat for listening to Smoke on the Water, but rather the inner sanctum of Saint Trina, an enigmatic figure and sleep deity who doesn't say anything but will offer you the opportunity to imbibe their nectar. Seems fine. What could possibly go wrong? Yes, this nectar is in fact fatal sleep poison, a fact you can confirm by trying it a second time. At this point, you're probably thinking it's time to stop drinking the lethal sleeping poison, and that it would be a very stupid decision to do it for a third time. Yeah, see? What you almost certainly won't want to do is drink it for a 4th time, but guess what? That's exactly how much poison you need to trigger a post-death message from St. Trina themselves.
Mikilla, stop. Don't turn the poor thing into a god.
Now, Theolier here has travelled all this way to hear a message from St. Trina, and so probably he'd be pretty put out if you told him that you and Trini had been chatting away, so it would be a second bad decision to go and do that.
I cannot believe your cheek, and I will stand for it no longer.
And that does also turn out to be the case, as Theolier gets mad and then attacks you. After you beat Theolier in this awkward punch-up, you'll never believe this, you have to drink the poison again.
Godhood would be Mikilla's prison. A cage divinity is beyond saving.
And then, and only then, will Theolier finally pop his clogs and become available to you as a summon later in the game.
Please, let me hear your voice in my everlasting slumber.
That is good though, I could use the help. I'm feeling much weaker than usual, probably because of all the poison I drank.
Halt! This area is under martial law by order of Provisional Governor Grant.
The Commonwealth wasteland of Fallout 4 is full of dangers, both obvious, like sprinting super mutants holding atom bombs, and more subtle dangers, like going swimming. I'm sure I had more skin than this when I went in. In terms of things that are likely to get you killed while out and about in Fallout 4, telling an extremely armed robot to go fuck itself is probably up there. But it turns out that this colossally stupid decision is in fact exactly what you're supposed to do, in one specific instance. Don't go saying it to Nick, it'll hurt his feelings.
Gotten a decent glimpse into your dirty laundry, but you still don't really...
Nice hat.
The robot in question is a militarized Mr. Gutsy machine that you can find floating around the highways and byways of the Commonwealth in a random encounter. Seems this Mr. Gutsy is out looking for Chinese spies and asks you to identify yourself with some urgency.
Please provide proof of your identity. Be advised that I am authorized to use deadly force if you fail to comply.
You're given a choice of options to respond, telling the robot the war has been over for 200 years, protesting your innocence, and, the most colossally stupid seeming option, telling the robot to go fuck itself. You might be thinking that saying you're not a spy is the best way to make this robot think you're not a spy. Let's see how that goes.
That is exactly what Chinese spies always say. Deadly force commencing!
Ow, my skin, I'm not supposed to get lasers on it. No, instead, the only option that won't end up with you on the receiving end of a steel buzzsaw is go fuck yourself, because the phrasing, and indeed the attitude, is the most American thing this Mr. Gutsy has ever heard.
Go f yourself, you crazy robot.
Analyzing. American colloquialism confirmed. Probability of use by Chinese infiltrator, 0.3%.
And here's me putting all those points into my speech skill when I could have just been telling everyone to go fuck themselves this whole time. What a waste.
With fragilus crown and with scepter abraid, draw Ragslin, short work of the innkeeper made.
In Award Magnet RPG Baldur's Gate 3, the main problem that your character is facing is that they have a Mind Flayer tadpole in their brain, and if they don't get it out soon enough, they'll turn into a Mind Flayer themselves, and no one wants that. Imagine having to brush your teeth. This being a large, open-ended adventure, you'll come across plenty of people who reckon they can do something about the brain parasite you appear to have picked up. Somewhere near the bottom of the list of candidates you'd be willing to let fiddle around inside your brain is Volo, a loud, brash, bearded writer and literal clown who you'll likely first encounter being forced to entertain goblins in their camp.
Come on, you turnip! Huh, quite so. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Help Volo out of this predicament and he'll head to your camp, at which point he'll announce that he's a top authority on brainworms actually, and can probably get that one out of your head no worries, if you agree to let him at your eyeball.
My research turned up a rather brilliant technique that seems quite actionable.
You might be wondering about the medical credentials of an easily kidnappable clown man, and let me tell you, it doesn't seem like any better of an idea when he produces a large knitting needle and announces his intention to jam it into your eye socket.
I assure you, I've dreamt of it 1,000 times over.
But while deciding to let him do this might seem like an absolutely terrible idea, our advice is to grit your teeth and go through with it. If you've got a strong stomach, that is, because although he starts with the needle,
Volo carefully holds one of your eyes open and begins to prod uncertainly with the needle.
Volo quickly graduates to an ice pick.
Then, reaching into his bag, he produces an ice pick.
And before long, your beloved eye is now no longer in your head and is instead sinking in the mud.
Your eye plops down into the mud.
Okay, but do bear with us, because although your eye is for sure gone, Volo feels so bad about losing your eye that he gives you a replacement one that is superior in one crucial way.
Take this. A far superior relic to that old jelly you were chained to.
Your new peeper, known as Volo's Ersatz Eye, lets you see invisible enemies up to 30 feet away, which is going to come in super handy when enemies start turning invisible later in the game, believe me. So thanks, Volo, I guess. But that is the last time I'm going to let untrained randos do surgery on me, in this game.
Mountaineering in Bethesda games is traditionally a one-way street. If you're going up, fine, hop sideways up the entire thing in as physically improbable a manner as possible. If you want to come down, don't even think about it. You'll die if you fall more than about 4 feet. So when you're exploring in The Elder Scrolls V and you come across a precarious bridge over a waterfall known as Bard's Leap Summit, you'd be forgiven for being cautious. I mean, sure, sounds like some bards leaped off it, but they're bards. Those guys are always doing wild stuff. Decide to embrace your bard side, however, become a bard boy for life, be bard to the bone, and you can indeed fling yourself from this dizzying precipice and plunge earthwards, maybe hoping against hope that you learn a new dragon shout that lets you fly about halfway down. Except, you're absolutely fine. Not only do you not die when you land, when you haul yourself out of the pool you end up in, you're greeted by the ghost of a bard named Azadal, who is both impressed you survived the leap.
Been a long time since someone took me. Longer still, since any survived.
And also a little jealous, I expect, because he didn't.
I once performed the entirety of the poetic Edda from atop Bard's Leap before trying my luck. Well, you can see how that turned out.
Turns out though, getting praised by a bard ghost has its advantages, as this will raise your speech skill by 2 whole points. Maybe I should be throwing myself off more things. Okay, so survival is a 50-50 thing. The next one will probably be fine.
I can't believe we're gonna fight Lady Yunalesca. Give me a break.
You can always run.
I'd never forgive myself. No way. Not if I ran away now. Even in death, yeah?
My thoughts exactly.
Most zombie movies and games never get around to introducing a zombie cure on account of how it would be a bit awkward that the heroes have spent the last 90 minutes using improvised weaponry to cave in the heads of people who could now be cured. There's nothing we can do for them now. Not so in Final Fantasy X, however, which has a status condition called zombie. Characters in your party afflicted with the zombie status start glowing green and have black smoke coming out of their heads, and that's not even the worst of it. While under the zombie status, items and magics that usually heal HP actually damage your character, which can be confusing as all hell in the heat of battle. Where this is relevant to our interests today, however, is in Final Fantasy X's boss fight against Lady Yunalesca, a terrifying boss who you seem to have interrupted halfway through getting dressed. Lady Y is one of the toughest fights in the whole game, and things start off in a typically brutal fashion when she uses her first phase attack, Hellbiter, which causes damage to the entire party and also inflicts the zombie status. Luckily for you, zombie status is curable, and your first instinct might be to do just that, so that you can go back to healing your party and not having clouds of black smoke coming out of their heads, which is a reasonable decision. What seems like a much stupider decision is to leave all your party as zombies. I mean, the smell's got to be an issue for one thing. However, the wisdom of this apparently terrible decision becomes clear in the fight against Lady Yunalesca's third and final form, in which you're up against a hideous Medusa-style face and vicious hair snakes down on the ground, while the actual Lady Y just chills out on a hair platform above you. In this form, Yunalesca uses her attack called Megadeth, which in this context isn't a 1980s thrash metal band fronted by Dave Mustaine, but rather a special attack that instantly KOs everyone in your party with 100% efficacy. That is, unless they're zombies. That's right, the anti-healing thing that means you can't heal zombies also means that they're immune to instant death attacks. So actually, leaving at least a few of your guys as shambling undead monsters may well be the smartest way to go about this fight. Don't worry, you can still cave their heads in with improvised weaponry when the fight is done.
Put it simply, Luciferin reacts with luciferase in the presence of magnesium 2+ ions. breaking it down into oxyluciferin and carbon dioxide. The carbonyl groups in the oxyluciferin are initially in an electrical excited state. When they return to their base state, they give off light. Did you get all that?
Not really.
Oh.
By the way, does that mushroom recharge your batteries when you eat it?
Huh?
I mean, it seems like if you ate a glowing mushroom, it might recharge your batteries or something.
Surviving in the wilderness of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is no easy feat. Even without considering all the supernatural super soldiers trying to kill you, you still need to manage things like injuries, make sure you eat enough food, and of course, keep an eye out for rampant monkey carnage.
Gotcha.
On that second point, however, this game isn't called Snake Eater for nothing. You're going to need to chow down on the local flora and fauna in order to keep your stamina gauge filled, and some of the local delicacies are better for eating than others. Some of these choices make sense. For example, eating rations made for human consumption, usually a good idea.
That's damn good.
Eating a big poisonous spider, less so.
This is horrible.
However, there are edible things in Metal Gear Solid 3 that seem like things you shouldn't let anywhere near your mouth that turn out to be the exact opposite. For example, every fibre of your being is probably telling you that something called a hive of pain hornets probably isn't good eating. And yet.
I want some more.
Possibly the most bizarre example of this is in the bioluminescent fungus known as the Russian glowcap, a glowing green mushroom that couldn't look more poisonous if it had a skull and crossbones on it and was emitting purple smoke. But while common sense is shrieking at you to not put this thing in your mouth, doing so not only doesn't kill you, it also recharges your batteries, a fact that the game itself also can't quite believe.
Paramedic.
What's up?
You were right.
About what?
I ate a Russian glowcap and it charged up my batteries.
Huh?
What's wrong?
That's great. Snake, can you excuse me for a second?
Sure.
Did you just...
Yeah. There's no way eating a bioluminescent mushroom would cause your batteries to be charged.
Still, it's good to know that all my instincts are wrong and I can just chow down on whatever mushrooms I want.
It's poisonous.
You win this round, Hideo Kojima.
Jill? Is that you, Jill? What happened?
Barry, help me please. The door won't open. Quick!
The original Resident Evil let you play as two different characters. There was Chris Redfield, who had a haircut as square as his jaw and a single-digit IQ.
Barry! Where's Barry? Well, I'm sorry, but he's probably...
And Jill Valentine, a beret enthusiast who... yeah, they're not recruiting those STARS members for their smarts, is all I'll say.
What's going on? Any clues?
No, but something's wrong with this house.
These characters are different, sure, but it's not exactly what you'd call a balanced split. Jill starts with a handgun, has 2 additional inventory slots, and almost immediately receives a lockpick which you can use to unlock certain doors in the mansion.
Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
Chris, on the other hand, has a bit more health. I don't know, it's never really come up. One other advantage that Jill has is her partner, Barry Burton. While Chris's friendly NPC sidekick, Rebecca Chambers, spends most of her time being menaced by monsters, Barry kicks ass, and will even go so far as to kill the game's first zombie for you if you kite it back to him.
Let me take care of this.
I mean, took him 3 shots with the game's most powerful weapon, but sure, grateful for the help, I guess. It's also Barry we need to thank for the favourable outcome of our next stupid decision, which is triggering a death trap and then just hanging out in it. The death trap in question is found in this small private study on the mansion's ground floor. Eagle-eyed players will spot a shotgun on the wall which, if taken, will trigger a mechanism that causes the room next door to lock itself and the ceiling to start descending in a deadly and inevitable fashion. Once you've tried the exit door out a few times, it becomes clear that the only way you're surviving this room is by heading back into the study and replacing the shotgun. And indeed, in a Chris playthrough, this is the only thing you can do. You have to come back later with a broken shotgun, with which you can replace the working shotgun, keeping the switch in place and allowing you through the trap room. If you're playing as Jill, however, you can make the inarguably stupid decision to just stand there as the crushing ceiling descends. Maybe this whole thing will work itself out somehow. And amazingly, it does, as Barry happens to wander past, hears what's going on and boots the door in, allowing you to escape with a shotgun without having to do all that tedious backtracking later on.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
While that one was a freebie, I wouldn't start relying on Barry too much. I mean, it's not like he's going to burst in the room of the boss fight you're having and kill the boss with a flamethrower for you, or anything like that. Oh, okay, my mistake. Carry on.
Hey, thanks for watching this video about colossally stupid decisions that worked out surprisingly well. A non-stupid decision that will also work out quite well for you is clicking on one of these two videos. This is a video from us here at Outside Xbox. This down here is from Outside Extra. If you wouldn't mind doing that, sitting through all the ads, I do need the money for Jane Coin because my Bit Jane now is it? What am I going to do with all the Jane Coin? So you said hodl. What about my diamond hands? Ah, damn it.